Some days it feels like lightning hits SoFi Stadium before the next snap even happens. And today is absolutely one of those days. One phone call, one heavyweight name suddenly in the mix, and the entire Bolt fam starts picturing an offense that finally feels intentional. At the same time, there's a potential move up front that could flip everything we've been begging for. Clean pockets, real rhythm, a passing game that isn't living on survival mode. And then there's a behind-the-scenes detail involving our QB that's going to split this fan base right down the middle, because let's be real, after that wild card loss to New England, 3 points on the board, Justin Herbert getting hit over and over, nobody can pretend this is fine anymore. The season didn't just end, it shut off like somebody pulled the plug. And if you're the Chargers, that kind of ending forces a hard look in the mirror. You don't fix this with one tweak. You fix it by changing the brain of the offense. The team moved on from Greg Roman, and they also let go of offensive line coach Mike Devlin. That's not just shuffle the staff. That's a message. Early on, it felt like the Chargers might stay in-house for the offensive coordinator search. They started by talking to internal candidates, including quarterbacks coach Shane Day. And sure, that makes sense. Do your homework, evaluate what you've got, see who can step up. But then the tone shifted, and this is where you can feel the room change. According to Ian Rappaport, the Chargers are set to interview Mike McDaniel for the offensive coordinator job. Let that land for a second. A former head coach stepping into an OC role. If it happens, that's not a safe hire. That's a swing. That's the kind of move that says, we're done wasting time. And I'm going to defend the Chargers being aggressive here, because Justin Herbert cannot keep carrying this franchise with an offense that feels like it's playing on hard mode every single Sunday. If McDaniel is in the building, the appeal isn't some magic trick. It's the structure. It's motion that forces defenses to declare. It's concepts that manufacture separation. It's answers built into the play design so Herbert doesn't have to play superhero on 3rd and long every drive. Think about that for a second. How many times this year did it feel like we needed a miracle just to get a clean rep? That's not sustainable. That's not how you make a real playoff run. That's how you burn out a quarterback and keep rewriting the same story. Now, don't get it twisted. Hiring McDaniel wouldn't mean turning into Dolphins West. It would mean pulling modern ideas and fitting them into what Harbaugh wants this team to be. Harbaugh ball doesn't have to be predictable. You can be physical and still be modern. You can run with intent and still live off quick, high-percentage throws that function like extensions of the run game. You keep the chains moving. You create chunk plays without forcing them. You stop asking your QB to be perfect just to get to 20 points. And there's another lane here too. The Chargers have also interviewed Brian Callahan for the OC role. Different vibe, more timing, more structure, more surgical in the pass game. But the goal is the same. Give Herbert an offense that finally feels like it's built around him, not just dropped on top of him. Let me say this. I don't care which style you prefer as a fan. Spread it out, pound the rock, play action heavy. None of it matters if Herbert keeps getting crushed. That Patriots game was the final snapshot, but the entire season told the same story. 6 sacks in the playoff loss, pressure up the middle, Herbert popping up, walking back to the huddle like it's normal. It's not normal. It never should have been. The Chargers went through more offensive line combinations than any team in the league. That's not versatility. That's instability. And the result was ugly. 54 sacks allowed over the year. 54. Every one of those hits steals time, confidence, and eventually health. So when the name Isaac Seumalo starts getting brought up, it doesn't feel like random free agency chatter. It feels like the fan base exhaling for the first time. Aaron Schatz put it bluntly. He believes the Chargers will spend big in free agency on Steelers guard Isaac Seumalo. And before anyone rolls their eyes at the age, yes, he'll be 33 next season. Look at the production. Seumalo was credited with a 96.9% pass block win rate this year, second among all guards. That's not hype. That's stability. That's the kind of interior protection Herbert has been begging for without ever saying it out loud. Seumalo's been a steady force on Pittsburgh's line the last few seasons, earned a Pro Bowl nod in 2024, and he's been in big moments before. Drafted by the Eagles, part of that 2017 Super Bowl run. He knows what pressure feels like when the lights are bright, More importantly, he knows how to keep the pocket clean when a defense is dialing up chaos. Now picture the setup. Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt healthy on the edges, a proven veteran presence inside. Suddenly the pocket isn't a trap, it's functional space. Herbert can step up instead of bailing out. Routes have that extra beat to develop. The red zone playbook doesn't feel like it's shrinking. Whoever wins the OC job, McDaniel, Callahan, whoever, gets room to be creative without being reckless. And don't overlook the leadership angle. Offensive line play is communication. It's calls. It's adjustments before the snap. A guard like Seumalo doesn't just block. He steadies the whole operation. That can change drives. That can change games. That can change a season. But be honest, how much is too much to pay to stop burning years of Justin Herbert? Because that's what this is. This isn't about winning free agency. It's about protecting the most important asset you've had in a long time. It's about making sure the locker room believes the organization is serious. And when a team makes moves that say we're serious, the chemistry shifts. The confidence shifts. Players start to carry themselves differently, which brings me to the part that's going to spark arguments. This OC search isn't just about scheme, it's about trust. It's about whether the face of your franchise feels like the franchise is carrying him back for once. And it's hard not to notice the awkward vibe around how involved Herbert actually is in this decision. Harbaugh was asked if Herbert has a say in who becomes the next offensive coordinator. And he kind of sidestepped it. He said Herbert isn't trying to be the GM or the coach, and that it's on the team to put him in the best position possible. Sounds reasonable, but it also sounds like we've got it. And after years of the Chargers not putting Herbert in the best spot, especially up front, you can see why some fans hear that and get uneasy. Herbert has already had 5 different offensive coordinators. 5. That's not learning. That's constant rebooting. The offense changes language, rhythm, reads, pacing. Every year you're asking your QB to grow roots in a system that never stays long enough to take hold. Then January hits, the game tightens up, and it feels like the whole unit is playing a step behind. I'm not saying Herbert should pick the guy. That's not the point. But it makes all the sense in the world to at least hear what he wants to live in. More under center, more play action, more designed movement to get him away from free runners, faster tempo with spacing concepts that create easy completions, keep some familiar pieces so the whole thing isn't starting from zero again. Great teams don't ignore that. They start there. And the reason this is such a hot topic is because it touches the core issue with this franchise. It hasn't failed because it doesn't have a quarterback. It's failed because it hasn't consistently built a structure around him. If the new OC hire doesn't truly begin with Herbert at the center, you risk repeating the cycle. And Bolt fam is tired of cycles. Now, to be fair, Harbaugh could be trying to protect Herbert from politics, from pressure, from being blamed if a hire doesn't work. That's possible. But even then, there's a smart way to do it. Talk to your QB privately, understand what makes him comfortable, and then make the call. No headlines needed, just respect. And if Herbert says he doesn't want to be involved, ask anyway. You don't skip that conversation with your franchise QB. So here's where everything connects like one electric wire about to complete the circuit. A new offensive brain, a possible interior wall that changes how Sundays feel, and a very real conversation about whether your franchise quarterback is truly being heard in a moment that could define his prime. Here's the question that matters. Do you think Herbert needs a stronger voice in this process? Or do you trust Harbaugh to make the right call without it? If you think this is the moment the Chargers finally get it right, talent, protection, identity, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop your take in the comments. What's the most urgent move right now? Landing the right OC, fixing the interior line, or making sure Herbert is front and center in the direction of this offense?